I've been playing Osu Mania for quite some time now. I always wanted to become an Osu Mania pro, but how do I stack up against extremely good Osu Mania pros? Today, this is me versus Osu Mania pros. This is where I'm going to compare on not just skill level and accuracy, but more on that. Also, 97.3% of you guys aren't subscribed. So please make sure you subscribe to me if you haven't already. It helps me a lot because I want you to have a good time watching every single video I create. So first off, we're going to start off with ratio. If you guys don't know what ratio is, it looks something like this. It's the number of rainbow 300s you have versus the number of 300s you have. To measure ratio, I'm going to use the amount of rainbow 300s divided by the number of 300s. So if you have 200 rainbow 300s and you have 50 300s, your ratio will be 200/50, which will mean you have a 4-to-1 ratio. Every 4 rainbow 300s you will get 1 300. The higher the ratio, the better. So here are the scores during the MWC 4K 2020 Grand Finals match where Brazil picked Saihate. Now let's see their ratios. Note that all of them are rounded to the nearest hundredth if they have a decimal in their ratios. So Intelizer has a 3.83-to-1 ratio, J Elite Girl has a 3.07-to-1 ratio, Crew K has a 3.06-to-1 ratio, Andre MC has a 3.77-to-1 ratio, Silly Fangirl has a 4.53-to-1 ratio, and finally, Lothus has a 7.52-to-1 ratio. All of these ratios are extremely good. Now, let's look at one of my recent scores. My ratio is 1.32 to 1, which is pretty bad. So pros tend to have the higher ratio. Next, we're going to look at patterns. I'm talking about jacks, LNs, staircases, handstreams, etc. Now, if you look at a pro, they are a master of every single pattern in this game. But for me, I am good at some patterns, but I struggle a lot with some patterns. First, starting with jacks. I can confidently say that I'm decent at it. I feel like it's easy to do some of the jacks. However, I do struggle with specific jack patterns, like mini jacks, which can throw me off sometimes, and court jacks, which can be very hard for me to read. This is a clip of Wonder hitting jack patterns. Notice how Wonder hit the jack patterns very easily. Now let's look at LNs, because I consider this to be the main struggle I have. I suck at LNs. So here's a side-by-side comparison. There's Narinamori, Youth Remix, and Crazy Jackpot. Narinamori is 3.88 stars, while Crazy Jackpot is 3.13 stars. I did worse in Crazy Jackpot. The reason why is because Crazy Jackpot has LNs, while Narinamori is mainly jack patterns. It was extremely hard for me to get it timed properly. It kept confusing me so much. So here's a pro named Crew K playing a map called Saihate. This map has hard LN parts, and as you can see, Crew K did it flawlessly. And finally, SVs, the most annoying patterns in the world. You can miss a lot if you are not prepared at all. SVs stand for Slider Velocity. A map that is known for the ridiculous SVs is Lost Found Melody. As you can see, it has a lot of SVs throughout the entire map. This is a replay of me playing this map. I don't know how you can read these SVs. They are so hard and confusing to me. Now let's look at Intelizer, who is very good at SVs. As you can see, when he played the same map, he did it pretty well. And that's it. That is the difference between me and Osu Mania pros. Now what does that mean? It means now I know what to work on. I can still focus on trying to play 4-star maps comfortably, but I should also work on LNs and maybe even some SVs. I may also have to work on being more accurate and having a better ratio.